Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Starburst. And what makes this so awesome is that it has the little starburst with the smiley faces. And I made this wrapper large enough to fit 4 of them in. They're so cute! I love it. My version of a wrapper, whenever I have starburst, I always open it up kind of halfway so it can peek them out as I go down, and then fold it up if I don't or shouldn't eat the whole package all at once. So I actually kept thinking that the whole starburst wrapper was yellow, but it's actually more red than yellow. So very cool, very awesome, super excited. It's coming up to Halloween, so we need some more candy. Look at the little bottom of the wrapper, like this one. Love it so much. Band wise, each starburst is 74 bands, so if you make 4 starbursts, that would be 296 bands. I'll point out that starburst comes in lots of different colors, so the main one of course is kind of these colors here, but they've had other ones that were like the sours and the berry ones, which are like kind of blues and purples, and so I mean there's lots of different colors you can use. So if you don't have enough of something, just Google online for different starburst versions or variations, and you'll find some other color choices that you can make. And the same with the wrapper. They're different colors for different variations, the sours and stuff. So, and then the wrapper is 287 red, and there's 64 yellow, so a total of 351 for the wrapper. So it's a little band heavy for everything all together, but it's super adorable and I love it, and they're so cute. They almost look just like real starburst size candies. So we'll start first with the starbursts and show you how to make those, then we'll make the wrapper after that. So first you want to make your eyes. I'm going to use these 7mm pony beads, but if you don't have a pony bead, you can use a wrapped band, just one. You put it on your hook, wrap it around once, this is the eye color, then grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your starburst. So that would be a wrapped band eye band. So you would want 2 of these. And if you're going to use the beads, the smaller ones that I'm using, you almost have to have a piece of either craft wire, string, thread, floss, anything you can put into a V shape, and then you'll put 2 bands into the center and then slide your bead down. So you'll have 2 of these either way you go with the eyes. And then you have the cheeks, which are just 1 band. They're made the same way as the eyes, so whatever color you want the cheek to be, on the hook, wrap it around once into the figure 8. Grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your starburst. Like that. So you want 2 cheeks. And then when we get to the wrapper portion, I'll go through the stuff again for the eyes and the cheeks for that one as well. So first we're just working on the little one. So you'll need your loom, wrong end towards you, and if you start doing our pattern right at the end, the bottom here, you can fit all 4 of them on at once. So we're only going to use 6 pins. So we'll put it on this 6, and then you can add your next 6 for your next ones, and then you can get 4 of them on. But I'm just going to make the 1. So everything's double banded. So if you want all 4 at once, start down here, but I'm going to skip up so I'm not over the top of this base plate here to where you'd have your second one if you're going to have more than 1. So it's 2 bands. We're going to go across the loom from left to right, and then right over the top of that from right to left, and we'll do that again. And on each of these 2 pins we're going to do cap bands. It's 2 bands wrapped around once and twice. And on the other side, once and twice. So like that. And then you'll take your hook and you go in through the cap band on the side where the band is on the bottom. So go in through the cap band, grab that band, pull it up through, then back towards the other side of the loom. Then do the same thing on the other side. Through the cap band, grab the bottom two bands, pull them across. Then again, start over here on the bottom, where the band is on the bottom. Grab the bottom two bands, pull them up, back across. And then the other side. Push those down. Now we're going to do 2 rows all the way around our 6 pins. So everything is still double banded. We'll just go around the outside. Like that. And then you'll flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Push it down. So that's our first row we had to do. Do our second row, same way. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. I'm just going to loosen up the center. Push everything down. Next we're going to do our eye row. So you want your eyes. So there'll be 2 bands here at the bottom, and our eyes will go in the next 2 spots on the right. And then 2 bands around the rest. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. Push down. And now to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to put on my mouth right now. So your mouth band, you're going to wrap it on this band as a cap band. So like this, 1, and then wrap it around 1 time, and put it right there. Now, we're going to do our cheek row. So again, 2 bands started here at the bottom, cheeks in the next 2 spots. We're going right over top the black band that we put on, or your mouth band. Yours might not be black. And then 2 bands around the rest. There's our cheek row. So you're going to flip the bottom 4. On all of them. When you get to the mouth one, I'm going to flip the bottom 4 over, and then I'll grab the mouth band and flip that over as well. And then get the other 4. So then you'll push that down. Now we're going to do another row all the way around. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Push everything down. And now you want to make sure, or you need to loosen up the Starburst here, pull it up. Looks like that. And now we're ready to close. So I'm going to start up here on the right side at the top, put my hook through, pull the bands off the pin, come over to the left side, take those bands off the pin, then I'm going to pull the left side through the right side. Then I'm going to come back to the right side, grab the bands off this pin, and pull those that I just pulled off through what was on my hook. I'll come back over to the other side, pull those through what's on my hook, and back again on the other side. And then finally, the last two parts are still on my hook. And I'm going to take two bands, pull them through everything, put both ends back on, make a slip knot, pull tight, and then usually you can tell which way you want to pull the knot in. On mine, feels like there's more of a, or looks like there's more of a hole on this side, so that's where I want my hook to come up through. Come up through that spot, and then grab my tail bands and pull them down in. And I'm going to pull until the knot disappears. Then you have to pull your tail bands in some more, come in from the side, grab them again, like that. So now you have this. You may have to do a little bit of tugging with your hook to square it off. If your little end caps on here that we put on, if they stick out too far, just take your hook, go in, come up through next to them, and just pull them back inside. Then on that was the top side. On the bottom side, you may have to loosen the braid a little bit to square it off. Like so. So cute and tiny. Oops, too far. Like that. Sweet little Starburst. Pretty quick, super easy, I think. Hopefully. So now we'll go on to the wrapper. Get the blue out of the way. So for the wrapper, I'm going to use 9mm pony beads. They're the larger beads than the ones we used for the Starburst. But if you don't have the beads, you can use bands. It's two bands on the hook, wrapped around into that figure 8. Then you'll grab all 4 bands, wrap them around again, and then pull them through 2 red bands. So that would be an eye band if you don't have the beads, and you want 2 of those. And then again, you're going to want cheeks. It's made the same way as before. Into the figure 8, grabbing both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 red bands. So eyes and cheeks. For the larger ones, I'm just going to put the bands through when we get there because they slide through pretty easy. So, you want your eyes and cheeks ready ahead of time. And we work this from the bottom up, I guess. Bottom up. So, starting right around the 5th, 6th pin up over on the side here, somewhere in there. We're going to make the 2 X's just like we did for the top of the starburst. So from left to right, and then right over the top. And do that again. Cap bands. Just those 2 bands wrapped around once and then twice. So then once you have that, you go into your cap band that's on the, it has the bands on the lower side, bring them across, and the other side, and back over here, where the band is on the bottom. And here. Push those down. We're going to do a row all the way around. 2 bands. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. Push down. Now we're going to puff all of these with red. So we're not changing color, but we need to expand it in kind of a weird way. So it's 2 bands, and what you do is go through all the bands that are on the pin with your hook, grab those 2 bands, pull them up through, put both ends on your hook, take the ones off the pin, and then the ones that are on your hook are now going to go back onto the pin. And you're going to do that for every one of the pins. Like that. So they're all puffed. Now we're going to do a row all the way around. So 2 bands. Kitty cat might be coming to visit here. Like that. Flip over the bottom 4. Push everything down. Now we need to expand everything. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the 4 corner pins here and just pull them out in the direction away from where they are now. So this one right here, I'm just going to pick them up and bring them down a pin. Same thing over here. Then I'm going to do the same thing up at the top ones, pull them up. Like that. So now, starting on the right side here in the center, I grab the top 2 bands. When I lift them up, these bands should come up to the pin up here. So then I can just bring them up and put them on the pin up above. Like that. On the other side, we can't do that because if we pick up the top 2 bands, they're coming from below, and if we brought them up, they'd be crossing. So what I'm going to do is pick up all 4 bands, move them up a pin, and then I'll grab the top 2 bands and bring them back to the pin that they were on. Like that. For down here, I can grab the top 2 bands on this one on the right, lift them up, bring them up a pin, and then on the left, grab the top 2 bands again, bring them up a pin, and then for the top one here on the right, I need to pick up the top 2 bands and I can bring them up. Then on the other side though, I need to pick up all 4 bands, bring them up a pin, and then I can bring the top 2 back down. Like that. And you can flip these onto the other side of the pins if they're not there already to help kind of with the stretch that's going on. So now you should be on 12 pins total, 6 on each side, and you'll have 2 bands on each pin. So we're going to do 3 rows all the way around the entire thing with the 2 bands of the red. This will be our first row. You hear her little motor just getting into my bands trying to eat them, so it's time for her to go back on the floor. So once you have the first row around, you're going to flip the bottom 2 bands all the way around on the first row. She is a very playful kitty. Like that. Push everything down. Do our second row, same thing, 2 bands all the way around. Now I got cat hair on my desk. Just coming back. Guess I should have shut my door. Like this. So there's second row. On the second row you'll flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Like that. Then we have 1 more row all the way around to go. Same thing. That's our third row. like that. Some will flip the bottom 4. And push everything down. And now what we want to do is get the back to middle puffed so that we can start transitioning into the little yellow piece. So I mean, realistically you don't have to do this piece if you don't want to. You can just have it all one solid color. But I like to try and make it kind of similar to the original one. So the back to middle here we're going to puff with yellow. So same thing when we puffed before, go through the 4 bands on the pin, then pull up 2 yellow this time, through, both ends back on, pull them off, put the yellow back on. Same thing for here. So just the back to middle with the yellow. Then you also want to put on your mouth. So in your mouth band, so I'm going to come turn around, and we're going to put on these 2 pins that are right across from the yellow that we just put on. So first I'm going to take my mouth band, put it on my hook, and wrap it around, so I'm doubling it. I'll keep it on my fingers. And I'm going to go in through the 4 bands that are on the pin, hook my mouth band, pull it up through, and up over the top of the pin, and then pull down so it's wrapped around the bottom of the pin, keeping hanging on to it, and then going through the bands that are on the next pin over. Again, hook the mouth band, pull it up through, over the top of the pin, and then pull down the mouth band. So now I'm wrapped around 2 pins. And then once I'm there, I can take it and flip it over the top, like that. So now we're ready to do our next row around, which is going to be, we'll have some transition bands here on the back side, which I'll show when we get there, and then our cheek row as well. So you want your cheeks. So we'll start with 2 bands down here, and 2 bands in the next spot up. Right here is going to be a cheek. And then it'll be 2 bands right here, and then a cheek. She is being a troublemaker. Cheek, and then it'll be 2 bands around to here in the red. Like that. And then right here we need to go from red to yellow. You can do it in your fingers. You just take the 2 colors that you need, place them on top of each other. So for this one I'm going to grab the red band through the yellow band, and then I'll grab the yellow band through the red band. And then I just fold each one in half to get a half and half band. So the yellow will go towards the yellow side, and the red will go towards the red side, like that, with half in the middle. I'll show you how to make the other one just so you're not wondering. Make it the other way. If you don't understand the finger thing, you can just take your 2 bands that you need, put them on your loom in any order, doesn't matter. And you go in through the top band, whichever one it is, grab the bottom band, pull it back towards itself, and then you go in through that little tiny triangle right there, grab the other band, and pull it back towards itself. So now I have a half and half band made on the loom as well. So either way that works for you. So our next spot here in the middle will be a yellow, or 2 yellow bands, and then another half and half. So I'll just use this one down here. And then finally red. Like that. So now we can go ahead and flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Like that. Push everything down. So we want to, again, puff out our back ones, the next ones out from the yellow one we have already, so that we can make the back portion a little wider. So same thing, go in through the 4 bands, pull up your 2 bands, both ends on your hook, take the bands off the pin, and put the yellow ones back on. And then we'll do it on this one down here too. That. So we just expanded 2 more. So our next row that we're going to do is our eye row. So I'll start down here. 2 bands are red, and red again. Then our eye. And then 2 bands of red, and another eye, and we'll bring the red around to the end over here, and a transition band. Centered, yellow, yellow, and more yellow, and another transition band, like that. So flip your bottom 4. Push down, and you can loosen this up some more too. Now we're just going to do 2 rows all the way around, including those transition bands that we have. So just start with the red up the whole front, and then transition band, then yellow, then transition band. So this will be our first row. So hubby and I are going out for our pretty much annual date night. We don't get out very much by ourselves alone. We're going to go tomorrow night. So I've been making sure to scramble like crazy to get all my things done for the weekend before we go. It'll be very nice, hopefully. Just like that. Flip your bottom 4. We're going to go see a concert and pretend that we're kids again. Nobody, I don't know if anybody knows who they are anymore. They're back from my day. I mean, they're still around, but definitely not as popular. We're going to go see Stone Temple Pilots. So, be a fun show. Push everything down. Then we'll do our second row, just like we did before. red all on the front. Last year we had our annual date. We went to another concert. It was a summer tour for some bands that were very popular when I was in high school. Some of my favorite bands like Everclear and Live and Sponge and trying to think who else. But it's very different when you go to a concert now because everybody was old. We're all just kind of old people going to concerts like that. Flip the bottom 4. It's very different from when I was a kid because I've seen those bands when I was younger, and then seeing them now, it's like everybody was very reserved, and you know, they're all my age, and we're so old now. I'm not that old, by the way, but I feel old sometimes. Push everything down. So now what we're going to do is reduce the front so we get the little opening in our wrapper. And how we're going to do that is on these middle 2 pins here. So on the third one up here from the bottom, I'm going to go in through the top 2 bands, grab the bottom 2 bands, pull them up through the top ones, and then bring them back towards me, or towards myself. And then these can pop off. Then on the next ones up here, I'm going to do the same thing. Go in through the top 2, grab the bottom 2, pull them up through the top 2, and then these are going to go away from me on the next pin up. And these bands can come off the pin now. So like that. Now we're not on these front 2 pins anymore. So push those down. Now we're going to do 3 rows, but we don't actually complete the whole row because we don't put any bands right here. So when I start these, I usually start up here on this pin, come around the transition bands, yellow, and bring the red. So like that. Just around the outside portion here, nothing on these pins. So on the back side, we're going to be flipping the bottom 4 on all of them. I say the back side because it's the back side of the wrapper, but it's the left side, I guess. Then on the front side, we're going to be flipping the bottom 4 on the top corner pin, and then the next one we're going to be flipping the bottom 4 again. Normally I'd flip the reducing band with this one, but we're not going to do that this time, so just the bottom 4 on there, leaving that transition band and then the 2 bands that we put on for the row we just put on. So leave the transition bands, or the reducing band. All these bands. Just like that. Push down. So that was 1. We have 2 more rows to go just like that. We're going to go eat it out back. I know that might not sound very exciting, but we used to have one in town here, but it closed down. And although we did get a Texas Roadhouse in its place, it's still just not the same. So it'd be nice to eat somewhere that we don't have in town all the time anymore. And I love their bloomin' onions. So like that, it's our second row. And this time around, you're just going to flip the bottom 4. So on the front ones here, you're going to be left with just 2 bands on the pin when you're done. Like that. And then all the other ones, bottom 4 still. So that's 2, 1 more to go. And little ones, I told them they were getting a babysitter for them, and Grayson, of course, chimes in with, I don't need a babysitter. Babysitter's for Violet. He's like, Violet's the baby. She needs a sitter. So then Violet starts screaming because she doesn't like being called a baby. And I said, well, the babysitter's for both of you guys. And then he's like, I'm not a baby. I'm a big boy. So like that. So now again, on the front ones, it's just going to be the bottom 2 to flip over now. And then all the rest are the bottom 4. So it took a little while to explain to him what a babysitter actually is, and that it's just a name. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's a baby. I love it because he's always like, I'm not a baby, I'm a big boy. I'm a big helper. He's so cute. Alright, so that was our 3 rows. Now what we want to do is start bringing in our yellow design in the back. So we're going to puff the outside yellow ones with red. So it's the 2 red bands on the outside ones puffed. Pull the bands up on the hook, off the pin, and then back on. Like that. Now we're going to do a row around, and then we'll just have a little less in the yellow in the back side this time. Like that. So again, in the front ones, it's just the bottom 2, and all the rest are the bottom 4. Like that. Push down. So we want to finally puff out the last 2 middle yellow ones with our red again. So now we just have red rows from now on. Like that. All red. So now we're going to do 3 rows all the way around with the red. Not all the way around, but you know what I mean. I did try explaining that to Grayson too, that technically he is my baby boy because he's my youngest boy, and Violet's my baby girl. And he's like, I'm not the baby boy, I'm the big brother. He really wants to be the big kid, and I think all my other kids were like that too, but it's funny. So that's our first row all the way around. Same thing as before. Just flip the bottom 2 on the front ones, and then 4 on the other ones. It's funny because then tonight when it was time for bedtime, he comes up to me, he's like, "Carry me like a baby." I'm like, "I thought you were a big boy." "I want to be a baby." He's so cute. Kids say the darndest things. So that's one row. Push everything down. Do our second row around. And I tell you guys, you have to watch. It'll be my first video with Grayson and Violet both doing an unboxing with the Shopkins blind bags, because Grayson says some of the cutest things in there, and I did not prompt him to say them, but they're just, when we're going through what he got, he says a few things that are adorable. So like that. Again, flip the bottom 2 on the front ones, and then the bottom 4 on the rest. With my videos with them, I'm really enjoying it because it's fun and they like getting stuff and they're enjoying it, and I'm definitely enjoying it, or I wouldn't probably be doing it because it's a lot of work. The little 7 to 8 minute videos that I put out, they're like over 2 hours or more worth of video to edit down. It's a lot of work, but I really like including my kids. So that was our second row. We got one more row to go. 2 bands all the way around. Plus it's something a little different, just for fun, and I get to, since I'm with my kids, the youngest 2, all day anyways, pretty much, although Grayson's in school in the afternoons now, gives me something to do with them in the mornings if I want to, and they enjoy doing it now, like with the shotgun stuff. It's like that, and again, bottom 2 on the front, and then the bottom 4 on the rest. And every time we go shopping, anytime that either of the kids see Shopkins, they both start screaming for them. "Shopkins! Shopkins!" Not like screaming in a bad way, but they're all excited because they see them. So totally in love with them. But it's like they're too young to have them unsupervised. So it's definitely, I spend a lot of time playing with Shopkins lately. Alright, so that was our third row. So you want to push everything down. So now we want to close this, but we don't want to have an icky closing tie on the front. So how we're going to do this is we're going to kind of close one end back towards the middle and the back, and then close the other side towards the back. So we end up with just our closure in the back, and then we can tuck in our strand. So to do that, I'm going to pick up the top 2 bands on this, or the only 2 bands on this pin up here, pull them back up. Then I'm going to go through the top 4 bands, and you want to make sure they're the top 4. So the 2 we just put on there, then the next 2. Grab the bottom 2, pull them up through the bands that are on the pin, and then bring that all the way back across. And you should be able to look at it and tell if this band you pulled over comes through both of these bands. If it does, then you're good to go. If it looks a little funky there, start it over again and make sure that you got the right 2 bands. So when you get to here, again, you go through the top 4 bands, grab the bottom 2, pull them back towards you this time, and then one more time, go through the top 4, pull the bottom 2 back towards you. So now we'll stop right here with this side for now. Now we'll come over to the front side again, pick up the 2, pull them back, go through the top 4, top 4, grab the bottom 2, pull them up through, back towards the other side, again through the top 4, pull them back. Top 4 in the next one. Bottom 2, pull up, back over. So now we're even right here. So what we're going to do is go through the top 4 closer to you. Pull up those bottom 2 and leave them on your hook. Then come over to the one from the other side, go through the top 4, grab the bottom 2, pull them up, through, and leave those on your hook. So now these are our only open points on our wrapper. So if you want, you can pull, I'd pull a band. I normally do 2, but I'm just pulling through 1, simply because I don't want the bulk of the 2 bands to be pulled through and hidden in the wrapper, but you could certainly do 2 bands. So I just pull the band through, then I'm going to do a slip knot. It doesn't have to be super tight so I can adjust things, but just so it's there. And then you can go ahead and unstick all of your wrapper. Like so. Sweet. You may have to stretch out the top a little bit to get, if you kind of pulled tight or had a little loose part, pull that out so that it looks nicer up there. And then what I'm going to do is just turn this inside out for a minute. And if you adjusted these, you probably could leave it inside out if you wanted to. But so what I'm going to do is I have our slip knot up here. I'm going to go back up through it. I undid it. So I'll pull my hook back through the bands. You don't necessarily have to do it this way, but I just want to hide it a little bit better. Going back through my opening, so I have them both on my hook. And I'm going to pull them through each other. Obviously I couldn't slip knot that by itself, that's why I didn't do it earlier. I pull it through the other one. I'm going to come and pull it down and go through like the top middle 4 puffing bands that are right above that yellow portion. Now I'll pull through my slip knot band through everything on my hook. Make that slip knot. Pull it kind of tight. Then I'll take my hook and kind of right across from where the slip knot is, I'll go through the braid of the row. Grab my slip knot band, pull it through. I just want to pull it through enough so it's hidden well, like that. So I'm going to turn this back out the other way. Give it a little tug. Adjust the face a little bit. And then we can put our candy in, but also down here at the bottom, you want to make sure that this part, because like if yours right now, if you didn't pull it out already, it's going to kind of look like it's a weird misshapen bottom. It's supposed to be that way because you're supposed to pull on the end or the bottom quite firmly to get that portion out so it's just like the bottom of a normal Starburst wrapper. Just a little added extra fun. If you need to tuck in the cap bands, you can do that. So frustrating because if I do wrap it around 3 times, then it's way too tight, and if I do it around twice, then it's a little loose. So better to be loose and be able to hide them than be too tight and look funny. Like that. Then we'll put our candy in. And you can put them in however you want. It is big enough for 4, with the last one kind of loosely tucked in the top. Like that. And of course you want to adjust your mouth band. Because we did it backwards, it doesn't want to stay frowny at first, so you'll have to make him smile. It's like the French fries all over again. There we go. So, Happy Starburst in a wrapper. So cute. I love it. I have to make some more Starburst now. So hopefully you agree, and hopefully you found this tutorial fairly easy. I think it was not too bad compared to some of the things that I've made. Had you make with me. But if you make one of these, you definitely have to share it with me in your own little creative way, which I love to see. You can do that on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. They both should find me. At least they have been, so hopefully they will continue to do so. And then of course, it would be awesome if you subscribe to my channel so you know when I'm coming out with new things. Because I'm always coming out with new things, whatever's fun and whatever makes me happy, basically. So, because when I originally picked out my channel name, feelinspiffy, is because it's something I used to say in high school, and it wasn't necessarily because of how I was dressed, which is how it is termed now, kind of, as, you know, you're feeling spiffy means you're all dressed up. It was more just about feeling happy and feeling refreshed and want to have fun, stuff like that. So that's what my channel means to me. It's feeling spiffy, it's about feeling happy. So, make more happy things. But thank you guys very much for watching. I definitely appreciate it, and I will have more tutorials for you soon. Oh, and sorry about my cat being in the way. She's nosy.